Hello boys and girls. Well, this is the third episode of our series on the churches of Newbridge. We have seen St. Conleth's, we've seen Kilvira, and now we come to the Dominican College Church. This church is in fact the third church on the site. The first one was built in 1819. The next one was built in 1870, and the older residents of Newbridge will remember that church because this church was built in 1966. So a very, very beautiful church, and we're going to explore it now together. The first thing to tell you is about the statues that are in front of the church. The statues tell us something about the history of the church. The Dominicans came actually to Newbridge in 1756. Originally they were in Naas, and then the leader of the community was killed for the faith. And so we see the statue of Father Peter Higgins, who was a martyr in the Naas Dominican community. The other statue in the front of the church is a statue of St. Dominic, because the community here are Dominicans. The Dominicans who were in Naas, and then they went to Cara, Yeomanstown. They came to Newbridge 1756. They built the first church 1819, the next church 1870, and the present church in 1966. So let's have a look at the interior of the church.
So I'm so grateful that we're not filming outside anymore because Father Paul was all wet outside. We're now inside the Dominican College Church, and as you come in, it strikes you the beautiful simplicity of the church, and it strikes you the atmosphere of prayer. So as we are looking at the altar, the tabernacle, the ambo, we can see the symmetry in this church that invites you to adoration. Do you remember from the other churches? The centerpiece in the church is the altar. The altar where the priests are celebrating the Mass, where the sacrifice of Jesus is celebrated at each Mass. Near the altar we have the, how do you call it? The tabernacle, the place where Jesus is in our churches. Near the altar also we have the ambo. The ambo is also called the pulpit, where the readers are doing the first reading, the second reading, and the priests are doing the gospel and the homily. Here in the Dominican College Church, near the ambo we have the baptistry, where all the kids are baptized and they are becoming Christians.
Now we're going to look at some of the details of this church, which are very important and very wonderful. The first one, I want you to look at the sanctuary lamp. Do you notice it's a bit strange? Now this is the clue to one of the things that is not very well known in Newbridge. The name of this church is St. Eustace, the patron saint. And the story of Eustace is that he was a general, a Roman general, and he went out hunting one day, and he was chasing a deer. And the deer turned around, and he saw between the antlers of the deer a cross. And he afterwards became a Christian. So if you look at the sanctuary lamp, you can see the deer and the antlers. Between them is the sanctuary lamp. So now remember, even though it's known as the Dominican College Church, the real name of the church is St. Eustace. Now there's one great artist who made so many different things for this church, and he was Father Henry Flanagan, a Dominican who taught in the college. And when you come to the church, you'll see many works of art made by his own hands. The first one you'll see is the great cross, the crucifix with our Lord Jesus, and on either side, St. John and Our Lady. Other works of art made by Father Henry Flanagan are the Stations of the Cross, carved in wood, each of them a work of art in itself. Next, we'll see the plaques in the side altars. First of all, Our Lady holding the child Jesus. We move on to the next one, and we see Saint Joseph the carpenter. And the next one is Saint Dominic receiving the rosary from Our Lady. So we've many different works by Father Henry Flanagan. It is really a treasure house of Father Henry Flanagan's work. We have many great works of art here in this Dominican church, the College Church, the Church of St. Eustace. One of the most striking are the great stained glass windows, beautiful colours telling the story of the Apocalypse, the last book of the New Testament. Many people, however, come here to pray to St. Martin de Porres. St. Martin is loved by people, and they come here to pray and to put their cares and their worries to St. Martin, and he always responds. Well, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our tour of the churches of Newbridge. You have learned something and found it interesting. There's always more to explore. But thank you for joining us in this visit of the churches.
And we are not done yet. This is the 3rd episode, but there are many more episodes to come, and the next episode is going to be Father Rory presenting to all of you his favorite part of Christmas.